Hello, I'm James, and I'm an old guy in Europe. Hello, and welcome to another episode of An Old Guy in Europe. In this week's episode, again on Carl Munson's Good Morning Portugal Show, he and I ramble on about my confusion about weekends, ponder the question of is it possible to always be optimistic, geese and leadership, and how being on vacation is not the same as living in a place. So, as always, I invite you to please sit back, relax, and enjoy.
And here he is, James from the Redwoods. How are you? Olá, bom dia, alegria. How are you, mate? Tudo bem?
Tudo bem.
Tudo bem. Very good. Very good. Good to see you. I'm just going to do something to make a little bit of a backdrop that's perhaps easier on the eye here. That's better, isn't it? a little less going on the screen. I think we're quite enough, aren't we, for people first thing on a Monday morning?
Sometimes I think I'm too much.
Well, write that down. Write that down. How's your weekend been? How are you? How have you been this week? Oh my God, it's been a busy one, isn't it?
I was going to say, what's a weekend? To me, really, the idea of a weekend, the feel of a weekend happened last Wednesday at the meetup. That was really wonderful. I love getting to meet some folks face to face, spending a good part of the day with Nunu and Sarah and Elena. It was a very wonderful day. So
isn't that lovely? Look at that bunch of people that you'd probably avoid if you're walking down the beach. But there we are, a rose with many thorns, you could say, in that particular picture.
Or many roses with a couple of thorns.
Yes, figure that out for yourselves, everybody. What's on your mind this morning?
Gosh, now I'm just being in the moment. It's like, I don't want to leave that moment of last Wednesday. Let go.
Let it go. Yes.
Well, I was reflecting a little bit on something you said a couple of weeks ago about imagining me and my thoughts always being optimistic. And my immediate reaction was, I guess, very sort of academic. It's like, well, yes, that happens frequently, a lot of the time, but not always. And I think it's important, particularly in my practice as a therapist, that sometimes people get ideas because of what you practice and you carry out there consciously, that somehow you are like, I could never do that, is sort of the feeling. And the truth is, I'm as human as everybody, and I have my moments. We all do, where I'm not being as optimistic as I would otherwise choose to be if I was being conscious. So it just brings me back always to this ongoing, never-ending process of notice, choose, and act. I have to notice that I'm not being positive and then make a choice about what I want to do about that and then change my action accordingly. So most of the time I'm there. Most of the time I'm living a conscious life, but it doesn't happen always, particularly when we're under stress. So that I just wanted to make that point because I know I find myself in that position of saying, oh, wow, they're so good at that. And, I need to be better at it. Like there's something wrong with me, or there's something, more than normally magnificent about them. So just reminding myself, we're all human. We all live a human life. We're not better. We're not worse. We go through our stuff. And for me, the conscious life, when I wake up enough to see it, is the life that I'm choosing. And it definitely improves my experience. So
Yeah, well said. And it is relentless, isn't it? I mean, I've said this before. Whenever I use the word God, just please substitute whatever is most comfortable for you. But
absolutely.
this is why God loves us, I think, because it is relentless, isn't it? Being a human being, and this constant stream of life stream of living. I think life, the backdrop in which we find ourselves, and you could substitute God for life, couldn't you?
Yes.
This is
Love.
pretty profound this morning. But there is that backdrop from which arguably we come and return to. But in the meantime, when the tap gets turned on and out we pop, it's non-stop, isn't it? And we do find ourselves with this being aware of that. And in the midst of that awareness, sometimes it's going well, and many of us, I think, are quite fortunate here and can reflect on and be grateful for those good circumstances. But as you say, not always the case, and sometimes it's a bit difficult. And I'm reminded of the thing which has been debunked possibly and fact-checked. You know, the geese formation, they're supposedly at the front of the geese flying formation, there are the pacemakers and the strong ones, or wolves also do this in a pack, I think. But when the tired ones tuck in, don't they? And they go in the slipstream, and the ones who are having the time of their lives are at the front. Whether or not it's true, I think it's a metaphor that stands up, and we can do that for each other, can't we?
Yes. Yeah, it's funny. I actually saw, years ago, something about migrating birds. It was a beautiful documentary. And science has basically determined that the V formation of birds is basically a tag team effort, because to fly at the front is the most difficult, because they are creating all the aerodynamics that make the flow behind them easier. Yeah. So one's following, and the reason they're in a V is all the air that's being broken in front of them is from the birds in front of them. And so the front one will then go to the back and someone else will take over. And then that one will go to the back and someone else will take over. And it's another metaphor for team effort and helping each other out, supporting, the tired folks and, all that stuff we can put to it. Yeah. But it's fascinating.
Yes. Why do you think it is? I suppose we're living in an age where, and certainly our culture here on this show is, as we've just said there, if you feel like you need to tuck into the slipstream for a moment, we're here for you. James is at the front of the arrow this morning, and you're welcome to tuck into his slipstream, and hopefully he hasn't been hitting the feijoada too hard this weekend. But why is it that there has been this unwillingness to say, do you know what, I'm tired at the front, I need to tuck in at the back? Is that just an admission of defeat? And hopefully that's changing right now.
I think it's a cultural thing. I don't know that it's universal around the world.
Good point. Yes.
I know that it is absolutely a factor in U.S. culture. I believe that in much of Western culture or European culture, it's similar, if not the same. And I know it's particularly predominant with the culture of growing up male, that there is some connection to being weak if we somehow have to relax. We always have to be first. We have to win. We have to,
don't relax.
To know where we're going, right?
Relaxation is dangerous.
I don't know.
Just keep going. Stop asking awkward questions. Just keep going. Shut up.
Yes, I've got this. So
yeah, just walk into the wall, buddy. It's okay. I've got this. I'm okay.
Yes, and I think the wolves are a great example, and canines in general. The culture of canines is essentially, we don't want to be in charge. So the alpha kind of has the reluctant position of having to be in charge because everyone else needs a leader. Yeah. And eventually someone comes up and says, you suck, I'm going to take over. And then they fight for a while, and whoever wins becomes the leader, and everyone else goes, oh, thank goodness, now we can just do what they tell us.
I think you see it, don't you, in the silverback documentaries as well. As the silverback's getting a bit older and he's sat in a tree just eating a shoot or something. Yes. And he's looking out over his whatever they're called, his gang, and all his kids or whatever, the females. And it's like, oh no, there's another younger male coming in. I'm too old for this, but I've got to go. I know I'm anthropomorphizing, I think the technical term is, but I think we can relate to this. Like, I used to love having a scrap with a newcomer, but I'm just too old for this caper now.
Hence the universal comedic line of "I'm too old for this." Fill in the blank.
Yeah, look, Krusty the Clown's like, oh. Yes, indeed. So whenever you're feeling like Krusty the Clown or the tired silverback or the alpha wolf that James is talking about, we've got your back here, haven't we? On a not just a Monday morning, but every morning of the week. There's a slipstream in the chat right now. Maybe we should say hello to a few people and pick up a few comments, James. But is that all you wanted to say about this particular subject, or is there more to come out?
Well, I always have ideas.
It sounds like constipation. I don't mean it to sound like that. Spiritual syrup of figs might help here.
Right. I was thinking about thoughts. So, wrap your brain around that one. And I can talk about that or go with the slipstream. It's always in the moment. I always have something just in case we have that dreaded dead air. But
we never seem to, though, do we? So, but see what you can riff on here, because we've got lots of people. I didn't think many people were here this morning. It turns out loads are here this morning. Thank you, everybody. Bon dia todos. We've been in Lisbon for a year now. Loving it. I love you too. Really fond memories of hanging out with you in, I think, Caldash first of all, and also in Lisbon. Sounds like that's just normal life for you, loving Lisbon. Great to have you here this morning, the Chases. Morning from Andrew as well. I didn't see any... Kev, yes, well done. Talking of alpha wolves. I didn't see any Care Bears in Coimbra either. It is tragically disappointing. This was I don't know if you saw this, James. That's a rather searing review of
yes.
Sounds like that was written by someone who wants more expensive places to spend their money. Could be that. That news, but it wasn't really news, Andrew. It's definitely opinion. Is a pile of asterisks. Not to Coimbra yet, John and Pam, in a week or so. And if you want to meet John and Pam, they might be at the meetup this week. But there's also, just so you know who you're dealing with, here's a picture of them before they came to Portugal. So you'll see them at the meetup. I was in a highly mosquitoed area.
Yes, I saw that last week.
Imagine walking around like that, out for a pleasant walk, and you have to dress up.
They weren't on their way to rob a bank, no.
Robbing a bank encrusted in mosquitoes. Everyone will move out of the way, though, wouldn't they? Put the money in the bag, otherwise we'll release all the mosquitoes. Tomorrow, yesterday, and today. Sorry to miss Jerry, though. Maybe he might join us at the meetup. You get to see him there. Cindy B's in for the segunda-feira Gumpers. And here we go. A mysterious maiden. I don't know if you'd agree with this, my response to that. Portugal is maid, mother, and crone all at the same time. Extending my metaphor, I think it's only fair to give you a little bit of a last word here in your thoughts from the Redwoods slot about that. Did that trigger anything in you? I know you've been thinking about thinking. Did I add something in there as well? The mysterious maiden. But as we know, of course, the female archetype expresses herself in other ways other than the mysterious maiden. Have you experienced that, extending my Portuguese metaphor there?
Well, actually, I had more of a reaction to the comment that you read, and I understood the response, the many interpretations of Portugal or a place. But I look at that and I said, you could say that about anywhere on the planet.
Indeed.
If you live there, you're not vacationing, and this person seems to be wanting a full-time vacation. He wants everything to be exciting and fresh and new, and it's like, where in the world is that true if you live there?
Yes,
so
indeed.
The only way to have that experience, in my opinion, is to just keep moving. Just put yourself on a full-time vacation, and then you'll have that.
And God forbid you would want to spend your life walking up and down a hill visiting cafes. I mean, that just sounds terrible, doesn't it?
Yeah, or saying hello to people, or being kind, or helping each other.
Yeah. No way. We're not falling for it, James. We're not falling for that easy-going, positive way of life that you promulgating this morning.
Yes, and I'm not judging them like it's a bad thing to want what they want, but they're not going to get it if they move anywhere and stay there.
Yes.
As life takes over, and the routine and the rhythm of a day-to-day life in a full-time place is very different than the excitement and adventure of exploring a new place.
Yes, and I'm minded to say that the journey, the inner journey, it wouldn't be so bad, would it, to be living in Coimbra and enjoying that, saying hello to people, walking up and down hills, going to cafes, visiting your therapist once a week, and finding excitement within. rather than having a go at what you find outside and projecting your woes onto the outside world. At which point, I mean,
Guru slug, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that gentleman will join me tonight to discuss it. He might be tempted to do that. 10 o'clock tonight for the phone in. James, thank you so much.